Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode. Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek podcast. And we've got some friends of the show on today. Man, I'm so excited when I get to have like such fun people on the show. It's really cool. Dylan, I'm always super excited to have you on, man. You're just like out there tearing it up, man. You're doing good things, and I love it. And we got a celebrity in the house today. This is pretty exciting. Dan's like, don't say it.
Let's go, baby.
That'd be fun. My fun too.
That's right. Absolutely, man. I'll tell you what, Dan. For those who don't know you, I know that they already do, but go ahead and let's do the formalities and introduce yourself, your company, and a little bit about what you do.
Sure. I'm Dan Van Orden. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for Idea Room. I'm also one of the co-founders of the company. And, simply put, we're a 3D configurator for sheds, carports, post frame and red iron buildings. So we help people sell their buildings online. And happy to be back. I know we've done it once before, and I also agree. Dylan does great things. We've been working with him. He's great.
He's out here killing it, man. Dylan is the guy that I say, I got two people that come to mind. I always say, Dylan is the guy I always say works harder than me, no matter what. No matter how hard I try to work, this guy grinds more and better and faster and longer. He just hits it. He gets up in the morning and he goes. And then I always like to brag. One of the other guys I like to brag on is Richard Mashburn. You probably know Richard, Dan. And I always say that's the only guy on earth I would hire to be my boss. Like, that guy's so smart. I'm like, man, just be my boss. Guide me, wise one. So we get the two of those guys in the room, and it's a dangerous situation. But tell me, let's talk a little bit about marketing and Idea Room and what all's going on, man. Who wants to open it up? Let's just open the top to the can of worms and get rolling.
Yeah, well, I always like to say Idea Room can't really do its job well unless our customers have good marketing. Like, we intend it to be the best marketing and selling tool, and it helps capture a lead, engage a customer. But we can't do our job without driving high quality traffic and using it well in your sales process. So I think we could talk a bit today about kind of what you guys have seen in terms of how you've been incorporating Idea Room or other 3D shed designers into kind of the marketing pipeline and how you use it for driving traffic and sales and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, there's so much to look at. But when we just bring on a new client, the first thing we do is just kind of look at their overall presence, Dan. We look at everything, their Google My Business, their ratings, their social media channels. We look at, their website. We look at their SEO, what keywords are performing well for them, and then how far of a radius around their, delivery location. We look at all those things, and then, after we kind of check out their foundation, we get on their website and we start looking, all right, do they offer a 3D builder? All right, which 3D builder do they offer? Where are the buttons at? And like, one of the just big things that I see a lot of times on some websites is like, they have one small little button above and the top of the, the header or something, or hidden down at the footer. And man, that's one of our main things. And I would agree, you said it a minute ago. So I believe that a 3D builder lead is the top tiered lead in comparison to someone walking in the door. It's as good as a digital lead can get, right? You get somebody that pulls on your lot, they walk in and they talk to somebody physically. That's like number one, but subpar number one is in the digital storefront, in your digital store, is a 3D builder submission. When you call these people or email or text them, you know what they want. You can recommend things. It's the best type of lead there is. So that's always one of our goals. And there's so many other ways of getting leads, but I think for dealers and sellers, it's the best one. So, gosh, man, there's so many ways, but just one very cheap option is making sure there's buttons everywhere. We have a 3D builder, sometimes up to 3D builder buttons on every single page.
Up to 3. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we first started out, we saw a lot of just encouraging people, make sure the button's prominent, make sure it's above the fold, make sure it's visible. And, sometimes they put kind of a marquee on the front page. But really what we've seen over time is there's just so many ways to integrate it throughout all of your marketing channels, social media. And yeah, in terms of some of the highest traffic generating sites I've ever seen, there are a ton of landing pages targeted at certain kinds of products and audiences, whether it's buying a workshop or a man cave or a garage or whatever it may be. And yeah, having pages full of links into a 3D builder. So once your customer's there, you can get them in there with kind of a pre-built design, kind of ready to go, similar to what they're looking for. So yeah, I mean, we've kind of seen, and it's why I love when our customers are working with you guys or just a great marketing firm, because we know kind of with that consistency, you'll find ways to incorporate it all over the place. So yeah, maybe beyond the website. I've never heard, beyond the website, how do you guys typically use it, like in social media campaigns or ad campaigns?
Yeah, man. So there's another really good one that I don't ever see anyone do. So we do run, and this is kind of your middle tier quality leads, I would say. So Facebook and Google, well, Meta campaigns, Facebook and Instagram, and then Google campaigns, they're very, very different, right? When somebody is on Google, they are actively searching for a shed or a garage or a carport, right? They're actively searching for it. So Google is generally just a little bit more expensive than Facebook. However, Facebook, you can acquire more leads, but they're not actively searching for it. Facebook is using the data it has on all of its people that they know, because Facebook follows you around the whole World Wide Web. But they know that you have shown interest in a garage or whatever it may be in a recent times, right? So one thing that we do on Facebook lead forms, which is when you see a campaign, you're going to have a little button that says like get quote or shop now or learn more or whatever it is. Generally, we'll do learn more, get quote. And when you're scrolling your feed and you see it, it could be a really cool video talking about a man cave or some sort of testimonial or transformation of a man cave, and you're interested in one, you click get quote or learn more. And without leaving the Meta application, you have this form that pops up. Starts off with a little paragraph. Hey, this is Big Bad Brad's Sheds, and we're offering 20% off all of our everything, custom and inventory. And so it goes on to ask, what type of structure are you interested in? It could be, cabin, tiny home, garage, carport, so on. You choose that, and then from there, it goes to the next one where you get their information. So we always recommend getting name, phone number, email, zip code. Zip code is good so you can verify if they're within your delivery radius. We've had a client before in the past. They're like, hey, somebody from 3 states away filled out a lead form. And I was like, well, this is how Facebook works. It's not always right in that area, but it's anyone that recently lives in, or is interested in that area. Generally, it stays pretty close, but sometimes you'll get a couple of stragglers. But they enter that information, and one thing people don't think of, whenever you enter your name, phone number, email, zip code, you hit submit, you have a second call to action in a lead form, okay? And that second call to action, we always use a 3D builder. So they submit their information, they're interested, then they click that next button, and then it automatically opens the 3D builder up inside of kind of the Facebook web browser, and you can go in there. Now, if you're using a CRM, there's all types of different CRMs, HubSpots or Shed Suite Marketings, whatever it may be. Whenever you get a Facebook lead form, it should automatically, when someone submits that, it should go in your CRM, right? Well, if they do the second call to action in a lead form submission, they go to the 3D builder, they design it, submit it, and then that joins together in your CRM because all the information matches. That is a really, really solid lead. It's a little extra work, and you have to get their information twice, which people don't generally like. But there's enough time between the moment that they fill out their lead form to when after they design their shed 10, 12 minutes later and submit that information. And then you've got a really, really hot lead there.
Introducing ShedHub, your ultimate shed marketplace. Are you in the shed business and looking to connect with more buyers? Look no farther than ShedHub. ShedHub is a game-changing, two-sided marketplace that brings shed sellers and buyers together in one easy-to-use platform. Think of it as the Amazon of sheds. ShedHub isn't just any ordinary marketplace. It's a powerhouse that ranks on the first page of Google's search results in 91% of U.S. cities. With over 1.2 million impressions on our website last month alone, ShedHub is where you want to be to showcase your sheds to a wider audience. And here's the best part. For a limited time, you can join our exclusive Next 500 plan for just $39 per month. Simply head over to geek.shedhub.com to sign up and start attracting more shoppers to your shed listings. As the Shed Geek, I am here to endorse ShedHub and invite you to join me on this journey to boost your shed business. Whether you're struggling with website visibility or simply want more eyes on your product, ShedHub has got you covered. Don't miss out on this opportunity to supercharge your shed sales. Visit geek.shedhub.com today and make your mark in the shed industry with ShedHub.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Can you do any kind of contingency in terms of when it sends them into the 3D designer that it might pick a different building designer? Does it always kind of go into just the front page designer?
Yeah, so it depends. Some people, what I don't think, it seems like anyone that has where you have to fill out the zip code field, that you can't. But there are ones where we can choose which one they go into, if it's a cabin or whatever it may be. A lot of times we don't do that because we like for them to see all the options. Maybe they've been interested in the shed, but they saw just a normal cabin shed, but they actually are just wanting a garden shed or a lofted gambrel or something. So we like them to see, hey, we've got 13 different styles for you to choose from. Check it out. So I don't look at it as a bad or good. However, just like some of our clients that you also work with, and they're on our web page and they're on the cabin page and they click design a builder, I do like when it goes directly to a cabin design.
Right. So whether it's kind of organic search you're targeting with landing pages like for cabins, or maybe you're running an ad with specific copy for a cabin,
Yeah.
do you guys typically send it straight into the 3D designer, or do you send it a landing page with some additional content with like context for the potential customer? What do you typically like to do?
Yeah, so man, there's a few things here. There's a few things, and we do it multiple different ways. I don't think it's necessarily a one size fits all. We do run specific we have a lot of clients, Dan, that, they don't have a video production team and they don't have professional photographers and stuff. So we have to get very creative oftentimes. And a lot of times what we'll do is we'll make a screen recorded video of our team inside of our client's idea room, designing. We'll go through and make a really cool video on designing sheds and the process and the choices and all that, and just kind of show them the flow to get them intrigued to want to try it. So what we'll do is we'll create three formats of that video for Meta. We'll create your 16:9, your 9:16, and your 1:1 square, and we'll have all these different formats. That way, Facebook can deliver that video in every ad deliverable that it offers, and then it'll be just a traffic campaign straight to the 3D builder. So yes, we do that, and we do that on most campaigns.
Did you say that was a video showing someone using the computer and doing a design, or is it like a screen capture?
It's a screen capture of us doing it. It's a screen capture of us doing it, and we just kind of add some sound effects and make it look cool. Yeah.
No, that's very powerful. We've heard about customers making similar videos, in some cases posting them to TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, obviously, like you were talking about. Have you ever used the augmented reality capability where you can kind of place the building on the property on the phone and done either screenshots or videos that way?
So Dan, I absolutely have. I actually was just telling somebody this. So I know a lot of people don't even notice it down there. So me and Mr. Shed Geek himself, we were helping one of our clients. We went to visit them we were in Evansville, Indiana, and we were hanging out at their booth, and we would talk to some of the people that were just kind of wandering around. And I had my tablet out and I had Idea Room open, that client's Idea Room. I get to talking to him about a shed. And so we would design it together. I'd have my tablet. We were just standing up. I'd design it. And I'd be like, check this out. And so then I would augment it into the expo floor. And then we would walk around it together. So yes, I have used it.
Yeah, and we have that really nice share button where you can post straight to Facebook and it just captures the image.
Ooh,
but
wow.
I've heard of some of our customers using augmented reality to take a video like that. And then some of those, you can show a building you haven't built yet.
Yeah.
And apparently they've been seeing even kind of more engagement on those, just kind of with the realistic background on it. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see people using it in that way. I always imagined it most as they could view it in their own backyard. But yeah, apparently it's good for marketing assets as well, which is cool.
Yeah, we use it a whole different way, but that's interesting. We've never created a video showing them that they could do that, because that would be a very engaged person. If we created a video showing me like designing it on screen, pulling out, walking out in the backyard, going back into the video, and then show it screen recorded on augmented reality in my backyard. You keep going in and out of the screen. I think we're going to do that, Dan. That's a great idea.
We have a lot of folks that do, from Facebook or social media, kind of a series of posts over time with different building designs. It looks great when you compare it with like real fantastic professional photography. But I think in this case, it's an easy way to get something like that because you can put it in context with a real background. Then it doesn't just look kind of like the computer design. And yeah, it's just a great way to create kind of a screenshot asset to show a nice building.
Yeah, Dan, I'm actually going to go to my whiteboard and write that down as a video to do for one of our clients.
That's Dan, that's the original and still the most trusted CRM ever. The old whiteboard. I've got 2 of them right above me up here. And I don't know what it is. No matter how many times you get on and log on, there's something that connects the mind whenever you can just write something down with a dry erase and like, hey, I need to focus on that today and get it done.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an excellent, partnership, if that's what you want to call it. I don't even really know what you call what we're doing, but I know that we're working together. And I think that's, that's collaboration at its best, is whenever you're trying to take care of your customers. I just feel like, I feel like, marketing's the wild, wild west right now. You've got a few companies out there that are focusing on it. But one thing that we've noticed is that the customer acquisition time is longer than necessary. I don't know how you guys feel whenever you do a demo, Dan, but like we really spend a lot of time trying to educate. And it's really nice to have partners that we can collaborate like with yourself to just shoot over a text or have a conversation so that you can provide for a better customer experience overall.
Yeah, we're all about partnership, and you guys have been really easy to work with. And since you kind of work in multiple domains as well, just doing this podcast, Shed Geek Marketing, other services, that just helps make our customers more successful. And what's really nice, like on the marketing and web development front, is you've got technical savvy, and some of our customers have that as well, but many of them need help on that front. Whether it's implementing a CRM or a marketing automation system, integrating Idea Room. Integrations are always a bit more technical to get set up and running well. And then again, it kind of comes down to how do you use it, right? So setting up those pages with the 3 links, or once the lead comes in, how do you put that in your CRM, and how do you kind of highlight the hottest leads so the salespeople can focus their attention? So yeah, I think one of the best things about partnership is just you can kind of fill in those gaps that we need for our customers. And then just kind of the expertise. Nobody knows everything. And so you get more minds in the room and start talking again about just ideas you've heard. I mean, on the marketing side of things, when we first started, yeah, there probably were very few companies that really, shed companies that had a marketing agency, unless they were bigger. And kind of over time, we've seen both, software become ubiquitous throughout the industry, but we do see a lot more companies engaging with folks like you to get high quality marketing. I mean, partially because, of course, the market's become a bit more saturated and you're just kind of competing for people's attention, talking about the attention economy. So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Dylan from the Shed Geek marketing team, and I want to address a common misconception about marketing. Often people approach us for just one service, like social media management, where we plan and schedule your monthly posts. While this is a valuable time saver, it's just one piece of your complete marketing strategy, much like a shed with its various components. Let's simplify it. Think of your social media channels and Google My Business as the foundation, similar to the runners of a shed. They support your digital storefront, your website, which is like the floor joists and band boards. To enhance your marketing, you'll need tools like Google Analytics, Facebook Pixel, and Google Tags, which are like the walls. These tools help track the success of your campaigns, measuring form submissions, 3D shed creations, and phone calls generated by our ads. Now, let's talk about the roof. Meta and Google ad campaigns. These are the top layers that complete your marketing shed. While you may inquire about one specific service, remember, they all contribute to the overall structure of your marketing strategy. At Shed Geek Marketing, we're happy to work on one individual aspect, but our goal is to build a comprehensive marketing shed that will truly stand out in the digital landscape. If you're ready to talk about your marketing strategy that will take your shed business to the next level, just go to shedgeek.com and fill out a submission form or contact the Shed Geek for more information.
Man, good word. Like just competing for people's attention, top of mind awareness comes to mind there when you think of advertising, like, how many touch points are necessary in order to create a successful campaign. Like, we have to do the same thing in our own marketing efforts, like we have our own CRM system, we try to keep our own pipeline full. Like, it's not just like we practice what we preach. Like we understand, trying to build confidence in our customer, and our customer is a longer acquisition time than a shed customer because they're typically impulsive in most cases, not all, but in most cases they stop by to buy a shed and they need the tools and the knowledge to be able to sell the shed right there. For us, we spend, months, if that's what's necessary, doing follow-up, coming back, planting seed, trying to build value through sometimes even free education, and I almost wonder, Dylan, should the conversation segue, unless, you've got something you just chomping at the bit to add, but should we segue into maybe even a conversation about what it looks like to be a dealer using Idea Room, as opposed to a manufacturer that's got more of a franchise model that, they've got a website that they're putting out. Because, we've been talking a lot about being able to help the dealer, the consignment dealer, creating a masterclass for marketing, Dan, because not everybody has the ability or can afford to go out and create a whole brand. If they're selling Big Brad's, sheds, but then they're selling another manufacturer's sheds, and it becomes very complicated to consumer where it's already hard to create a national brand, like even just creating a local brand. So is that a good segue, Dylan? Is there conversation to have there for Idea Room?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even familiar with how y'all do like your structure and breakdown. We've got some people who wholesale and just sell buildings, and some of them. Well, I got a question for you, Dan. We've got a gentleman that sells buildings, and I think he does it wholesale, but he's got his own brand. But when you go on his Idea Room, you see who he buys his buildings from. You see their logo on it, right? And is that because they won't buy the manufacturer pricing, or how does that all work there?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, and there's a variety of situations you encounter, right? So there's consignment dealers and wholesale dealers. There's manufacturers who basically you have to represent their brand, right? So they don't really have an independent business brand. Although if you're wholesaling, I think you typically do often represent your own business and your brand. In terms of how it works in Idea Room, there's a couple of different ways. In the most straightforward example, if the manufacturer is subscribing to Idea Room and the pricing is consistent or set up completely in Idea Room, then a dealer can either use what's called dealer network support, and they're basically using the manufacturer's instance of Idea Room, but it's identified which dealer is using it so that those leads, when they come in, get associated with that dealer and assigned to them automatically. This is a little technical, but it's basically a URL parameter that identifies what dealer is using it. If the manufacturer has dealer network support, that's kind of included in the service level. And then what we like to have is basically they can optionally upgrade to what's called a direct to dealer subscription. And that's where they can get their own URL on their website. They can put their logo and their branding on it. And, typically this is a great fit for, it kind of depends, but it could be 3 to 5 to 10% of the dealer base that's really focused on growing their brand. They want to keep that customer experience really seamless. So don't send them off to a different URL on the manufacturer's website. And these folks, they're really aligned with Idea Room in terms of what we focus on the marketing and selling side, because that's what dealers do. They market and sell. That's primarily all they're doing. And in some cases, the manufacturer doesn't do any of that. Like they don't retail directly or anything like that. So they leave all the marketing and selling to the dealers. So yeah, there's a case in which they can use it provided by the manufacturer. They can upgrade optionally to a dealer subscription to kind of get all of that, integration with their website and their social media a lot tighter. And then ultimately with a wholesale dealer, it kind of depends. In some cases, they kind of do a full-on subscription so that they can represent multiple different product lines and pricing and different things like that. But it gets a little bit diverse when you get to wholesalers. Yeah. So it depends on the situation. What kind of company do you guys usually work with in terms of dealers?
So and I think that's what Shannon was wanting to get into. We spend a lot of time on the phone with dealers. As you know, and I know that there's so many different types of manufacturers and ways that, the shed industry has kind of ran as a whole. And we are starting to see a shift, I think, to the positive. But there's a lot of dealers out there that have 2 acres and somebody just drops a couple $100,000 worth of sheds off, and there they are just finding their way, and they find the resource like Shed Geek Podcast, and they listen and they're curious, and they'll reach out to us and like, yeah, I really need a website, or I need to run ads. And then, they're like, oh man, this is a lot of money. This is a couple $1,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month. It can be, you know what I mean? And so they get overwhelmed, and we spend so much time talking to them and trying to just add value that we have really been wanting to launch a masterclass directed specifically to dealers only. Maybe a small monthly fee, $29.99, $50 a month, whatever, where we have a catalog of masterclasses with different subject matters, like how to do marketplace listings, how to boost your posts, how to use Facebook Ads Manager, how to build a website template. I've even thought about building a simple like Wix or Squarespace template where they could even just have it, duplicate it, and then drag and drop their stuff into it. How to install a pixel, how to retarget, just all these different things that Dan, you got to think about it. As somebody that's 10% commission, they sell $1 million to make 100,000. That doesn't include all their lot stuff and mowing the grass and, they had to hook electrical up or just whatever it may be. And then it's like, man, how much is left over for a campaign? I don't know if I would drop 25 grand a year on marketing out of my 100 grand after taxes, which, so much to get into, but they need some support, man. I feel like dealers need support, and we just want to try to find a way to help them.
Yeah, I think in those instances, it becomes really important to focus on return on investment. And I think it's a great idea to run kind of a master class, just teach them the basics. we try to do as much as that as we can in terms of, on our blog at times, just kind of walking through the basic things you can do on your website. But yeah, you're running on that thinner margin. Do you like how much on the dealers you work with does it come, driving traffic to the lots, or even when they're thinking about digital, how do they track that the traffic may have originally come from online or, lot versus online, basically? And I think the trend is more and more online, but certainly even with our customers, sometimes they're thinking about how to use Idea Room related to the lot, whether it's the salesperson using it on site when a customer comes, or we've had folks like, put up a QR code where if they, leave without buying a building, they can bring up a link. But yeah, how do you guys deal with kind of the lot based versus the online and thinking about that?
Yeah, we are 80% focused online leads. That's our main goal. The kind of campaigns we run, Google ad campaigns, of course. We run 2 pre-roll campaigns. We run Google ads directly to the 3D builder. We do streaming campaigns, so Roku, Hulu, Disney Plus, Freevee, Tubi, Prime. We run campaigns, video campaigns on there. Now with Google and streaming campaigns, we can track on lot. So both of those, they capture the IP address, and if that IP address goes on location, now this is dependent on the device they were on, location on, all these things, but we can. As a matter of fact, I've got a client right across the road. He's a local business that we work with. It's a power sport company, very large power sport dealer that carry all the brands: Polaris, Can-Am, Honda, Kawasaki, Segway, all of them. We actually track on lot. So if they've ever been hit with an ad, that IP address, and if it shows up within 30 days, that's a conversion, right? So we can do the same thing, but it's dependent, because some of our clients are corporate, and then we're marketing for the whole state for all of their dealers or something, right? So everything is so dependent. You know what I mean? Like we have some corporate or manufacturers that they put out ads to get all of their dealers leads, but there's some that they do all their own lot sales. Their dealers are on their own, right? So it is like a case by case basis completely. But to answer your question, I'd say 85% is online leads, and that's our focus.
Hello, Shed Sellers. Did you catch the latest Real Work Labs interview with George Converse? If not, don't miss this value-packed episode. Head to Shed Geeks Podcast YouTube and search Real Work Labs. George and the Real Work Labs crew are riding the wave of Google's latest updates, taking your digital presence to the next level. We're tech artisans crafting your neighborhood brand voice for shed sellers like you to stand out, gain trust, and get found online. Our software will easily capture your work snapshots, videos, weave your craft's story, and get reviews all in one virtual experience. Our innovation goes beyond getting found for your business location, rather getting found for your work locations. Reviews intertwine with their corresponding job sites. When potential customers seek local expertise, you're the proven solution they'll find. It's high time to map your reviews and showcase your beautiful work in a meaningful way that builds trust in customers' neighborhoods. Ready for the journey? Visit shedgeek.realworklabs.com or call George today at 480-787-7575. Real Work Labs, elevating your trust, increasing your conversions, and getting you found where you work in the neighborhoods you serve, one shed at a time.
Yeah, so you guys don't know this about me, but I'm part owner in a pet store here locally. We actually have 2 stores, but that's where I found out about that Google stuff, because we run online advertising. And then, yeah, you can get some accountability from Google about them knowing, based on it's from your phone, that they showed up at the physical location, which was kind of mind-boggling when I learned about that.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, because these days, I mean, a lot of the foot traffic is actually generated by just Google it and then see the Google reviews.
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be, which is really kind of interesting.
Dan, Google Ads has it's a store visit campaign. And I just think people don't learn, even agencies, they may not look at all the different 8, 10 campaign types and really study them, that's what that is, the store visits campaign. It's not just promoting, come in 10% off with this promo code. You know what I mean? Like, if you know how to do all your conversion tracking and all that stuff, yeah, it's following you around, man. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, on the topic of conversion tracking, I'm curious how far you've gotten. I know, what may not be apparent from just looking at Idearoom, the 3D configurator, is that we do have capabilities around tracking UTM parameters, which are for campaigns, marketing campaigns, the Google Analytics integration, so you can see kind of the conversion event when someone submits after they came in through, say Facebook.
Yep.
To us, that's really important because ultimately we want to see our customers sell more and drive more leads. And we want to be able to prove that to them and for them to be really happy about it. How much success have you guys had in kind of, because I know we've been talking about it, Dylan, using some of those capabilities?
Well, we've just started. So right now, in my opinion, and we actually had a team meeting about this about a week and a half ago with one of our particular clients. We were going to just compile the data for 90 days. And then we were just going to kind of look at it and see what the numbers are and try to figure out a frame of reference, right? We don't know. We don't know how many people started and left or saved, submit. That is another big thing. The ways should you have your price being configured while they're building the shed, or how should they get it? That's a whole nother topic, but it important one. But I feel like we don't know what the standard is on what to expect on the view inventories and all these things, because we just started doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so try to get a baseline so that you can kind of compare it to and then also improve it over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it is the beauty of online marketing and advertising is that trackability. And I know we're working on making it easier to put those pieces together to just get a more visibility into how productive it's being and what the real return on investment is, which I sure is important for you guys because that's how you sell your services, is to help drive more traffic and close more sales ultimately.
Sure.
One of our favorite things is, and I don't mind stealing it from Dylan because he's used it so much, has become part of my own vernacular. And that is, we're supposed to make you money. It's one of the things we talk about in the customer acquisition phase is you're investing in marketing like you're investing in lumber to build a shed and then sell the shed. You're investing in a mule. You're investing in a trailer. So you're investing in marketing, and ultimately it's supposed to cost you less than what you're spending. It's not just a line item. It's actually investing in good marketing will create more value for your company. So even though it's a cost, it's not a line item cost. It's not a net negative. It is a investment into the future. And if done properly, now there's some things we can't control, Dan, just the same as, on your end.
Crappy sales guy. Can't fix it.
I can't do anything about your system and your process. I can't do anything about what you do with the lead once you get it. I'm completely handicapped other than automations, right?
Well, you guys don't do sales consulting?
Oh man. Well, there's, the sky's the limit, Dan. Who knows where this thing's going to end, brother?
Yeah, you don't want to open that can of worms, Shannon, or what are we doing?
Well, all I know is that opportunity abounds. Let's just say that. So if you can help people and in the process you help yourself, I mean, to me, that's just good business. But you have to put a primary focus on helping people. And I'm not one to shy away from saying in sheds, in the shed industry, I don't mean to be a critic, but man, customer service is often left just wanting. It's just, and I know there's some guys out there that offer some dynamic customer service. Anthony Mitchell comes to mind. Legendary customer service. I mean, he's out here motivational speaking, you know what I mean? Whenever you talk to him on that stuff. And I love that. But I mean, like we typically in the shed industry miss the mark on customer service.
We love Anthony.
Yeah, great guy.
He's one of our best customers. And he's always there at any session where we're talking, like gleaning all the best information about the newest things he can do. I mean, he's always out there pushing the envelope. And even beyond the shed industry, like carports, I know has a bit of a challenge there in terms of customer experience and service. And there's been a lot of work to kind of improve that. And I think the companies that are doing the best are improving that. That's actually for us kind of a pretty high qualification criteria when talking with customers. The folks that are most aligned with us are very, very focused on customer experience and customer service, because that's kind of what we're trying to give them, is like the best purchasing experience in terms of like working with the company to design their building and purchase it and make it simple and easy. It's an area that's philosophically very important to us. And Dylan, actually, you made me think of something. So when you mentioned, like, do you display price versus do you hide it and send it in the email, or even that a salesperson has to engage before you see the price? You could talk about that all day long. Generally speaking, though, kind of that flexibility and then thinking about both what is going to cause the customer to engage and submit and capture that lead so you can engage with them. We look at a lot of factors. So there's ones like those where we're very flexible and we can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Though we will advise people on what we see as typically the most effective, but it can vary from company to company based on their approach. But I know something that you were really interested in was, do you capture the contact information up front or entice them to submit, and that's when you get it? And at this point, we just released, and I know you guys were really excited about it, the ability, because we've always kind of been at the end of the process, like let them in, let them play with it, always entice them to submit. But now we have the ability where you could like require contact information up front or do a pop-up during their session, kind of a timed pop-up. I'm curious to get kind of your perspective on what you've seen in the industry with this approach and what's worked the best and what you've heard from, your customers.
Backed by popular demand, let's dive deeper into the Zula from Mobino Solar Solutions. This remarkable shed ventilation system, armed with 3 potent fans, not only prevents mold by maintaining optimal moisture levels, but also acts as a shield against indoor allergens, ensuring a clean and healthy workspace. The Zula is more than just ventilation. It's an air quality superhero. Powered by solar panels, it revolutionizes your shed experience, creating an environment where you can breathe easy. Elevate your workspace with Zula, the ultimate solution for improved air quality and circulation. Visit Mobino Solar Solution today and breathe in the freshness. Visit Mobino's site for more on this innovative solar shed ventilation solution and use the Shed Geek 10 for an extra 10% discount. Go now to www.mobinoSolarSolutions.com.
Dan, I'm gonna let you in on something, okay? So,
I already know. I know this guy at this point. I know his mind and how it works. I know what he's getting ready to say. Go for it.
It's all coming out. Dan, we have been plotting against Idea Room for about 7 months.
Not against.
Not against. For the benefit of. All right. Yeah, that sounded bad. Not against. But so ultimately we started reaching out and we're like, hey, can we do this thing where we get the lead form? Y'all have your own lead form, because we hate to collect information up front before they can design, and then they design it and then they save and submit it and they have to do it again, right? So you're like, yeah, we could do UTM parameters, but then their information's up there and it just kind of gets a little bit sloppy. So after I had kind of like pushed and pushed, and so we started having every one of our clients reach out to Idea Room.
I'm sure Elaine heard from them.
Sorry, Dan.
No, you got to advocate, and I hope we listen. Which
You did, yes.
Yeah. That's why I thought it was even better that you did it like right before this call or before this podcast. I just thought that was funny. So now that people have the option, I think there's full flexibility. There's more flexibility than people even know what's possible that I've learned, because I probably look at 6 Idea Room accounts every day when bringing on new prospecting, new leads, looking at sites we've done, 7 months ago for whatever reason. So I look at them all the time. And I think that you all were really and are onto something. Like, your better lead is going to be coming from someone who gets on there, they play with it, they save and submit it, give you their information on their own accord. I do think that's a better lead, but there are some sales guys that just feel like, I just need to get on the phone with them. I just need their information. I know they're interested. They've been already hit by the ad. They've searched for our website. Like, they are interested. Let me add so much value when I get in touch with them that I can handle it. So, and that's our job, is getting people that we know is or has been interested recently in a shed or an outdoor structure or whatever it is, and getting their information and just being a lead for them. So, yeah, I mean, now, that problem was that we started building these upfront lead forms, and then when somebody puts in their information, they hit enter or submit, then it takes them to Idea Room. But like, once they're done with that, they want to save and submit, they have to do it again. So that was just always a problem, and it was just a bit of a problem. So now that we have that solution, I think that's awesome. And I haven't actually seen it. Like, none of our clients has engaged it yet. So I'm very curious if somebody has to fill out the form. So they're on the website, they hit a 3D builder button, you go into Idea Room, and then they fill in their information, whatever it is, name, phone number, email, zip code, notes or comments, and then they'll build it. And then what happens from that point? Like, if they hit save and submit, is it going to auto-populate that again, or it just submits it with the information that they got prior?
Well,
that was a
when
lot.
I was coming on here and how excited you guys were, I probably should have reviewed it in depth. I know it's there and it's great. And yeah, what I think will happen is you'll see the submit with the contact information. And then, of course, that information stays there. So if they submit again, it'll be like a revision of a building, or it'll come with the building information on it. But yeah, I mean, there's I can't go into too many futures or things like that, but there's things in the future that'll probably make that even more interesting and usable to engage with. But you put the contact info in, and then it'll come with the building design if they resubmit after, finishing the building.
Nice.
We have sort of addressed, even though, like, the client's concerns, right, Dylan? Because you do get a lot of people who sell like they shop. And sometimes it's hard to get out of your own head to realize that, like, not everybody shops like you shop. So, like, if you're in an ecosystem where you only sell the way you are a consumer, then you're going to limit yourself because you're only reaching a portion of the audience. So for, like, the people who are like, I wouldn't use it if they were asking for my stuff ahead of time. And you're like, but you're so much different than a lot of people who will. And it's not really about trying to set your company up like the way that you shop as a customer. It's how do the majority of the people out there shop. And this will help for the shed salesperson that is really dedicated. You can use whatever word you want to use there. Pushy, salesy, whatever you want to call it. But, dedicated, driven, going to make sure that they offer the best customer service and reach out. And Dylan, we've even, like, addressed that a little bit with, like, a little welcome video for, like, some of our clients, right?
Yeah.
A welcome video for, like, the website or on the 3D builder? Or?
Yeah. So ultimately, it's a kind of they if they click on the 3D Builder button, then a video pops up. Hey, this is Brad with Big Bad Brad's Sheds. We just want to thank you for getting on our website. Hey, we're going to ask for a little bit of information up front before you start designing. Just know we're not giving away your data. That is for our internal team in case you have any issues, and then also to make sure that we deliver to your area. So enjoy and reach out if you have any issues, right? That was kind of our when I was telling them what they should record, we always recommended the owner do it short and sweet. Don't make it professional. Let them know it's a real person. And then once they submit their information, then they go and build. So, yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That's more of a welcome video than like a tutorial video.
Yes, if you all could add that as well, a way for like a video.
So
Dan's like, wait a minute.
To add a link. And we've had this for a long time, but this kind of goes back to, I mean, we've been in it pretty much from the beginning, and we've seen just about everything under the sun in terms of shed options and pricing algorithms and all these kind of things. So we have so many flexible options, and sometimes it can be hard to find them all. But yes, you can put a link that is a tutorial button up at the top right. Generally, we haven't done like generic tutorial videos because each idea room can be pretty unique.
Sure.
But yeah, if you do a tutorial video for one of your customers, we should be able to expose that up in the top header with the tutorial button.
Interesting.
Yeah. Any of your ideas, make sure and send them my way because we might have already done it and you just don't know.
Well, and Dan, to be honest with you, we don't usually get access to our client's idea room. Like that's why I always get the email from I had to email idea room support today, but it was ultimately our client had an issue, whatever, and then I would just email support at idea room, and then they're like, you get that automated, hey, start using your widget, use your widget, sales to you, and I'm like, oh God, I don't have access, get off me.
Yeah. There are actually good reasons why when you put it in the widget, it's very trackable, it's very fast, and we have some hot seat people that are always watching it. But yes, I want to find, I don't think we have this yet, but what I want to find is a good way for our partners to get in there and be authorized for their customers. I mean, whether it's submitting a support ticket or you guys know something you want to tweak, like turning on that, lead capture form.
Sure.
Sometimes, it would make a lot of sense for you to do it on their behalf for sure.
Yeah, and our clients would, but Dan, we work so deep with some people. We do all these custom automations and all these CR, just all this stuff, and it's like, it's like another software we got to learn. You guys, come on, pony up. So it's like, I don't know. There's certain things we try to stay away from. Hey, reach out to Idea Room for this, so on and so forth. Not saying we won't. If somebody asked us to specifically, we would do it. No question.
Managing your rent-to-own contracts just got easier with RTO Smart. Designed by leaders in the rent-to-own storage industry, RTO Smart was handcrafted to enable you with the tools needed to manage your own contracts your way without using a third-party rent-to-own company. RTO Smart is your one-stop shop, allowing you to generate contracts and manage customer accounts from start to finish while maintaining simplicity and flexibility. Call us today at 316-618-9396 or visit our website at rtosmart.com to schedule a live demo and discover why RTO Smart may be right for your business. You've got to be able to explain it too. So beyond just understanding it yourself, you've got to be able to explain it. And like we just tell people, like with your marketing questions, like this is the kind of language that we use on the call, like asking your brokenness, right? Mm-hmm. Like asking your broken language, what you understand marketing to be. Because like I haven't always I still get Dylan gets a kick out of me because like I'll adjust my tie a little bit whenever I get to say things like GA4 tags and UTM perimeters. I sound so smart, Dan. I sound so smart. But the reality is the question gets real deep and I'm like, Dan, Dylan, Anybody want to take this? Somebody want to, I stay in my lane, right? Like I learn from you guys by being in the room full of smarter people than myself. But man, it also allows me to be relatable. I think to people who don't understand it, like I don't understand it. If I don't understand it, like I want the permission to ask the question, and I want to be able to ask it like a client would trying to buy a shed. They're trying to get what's in their mind across so in a way you can understand it. And like sometimes in tech, you can speak in such a high level that it's you talk to other tech people every day, all day, that you forget that there's a very human element where people are like, I remember a guy telling me, it was like, you keep using all these acronyms like CRM. And I was like, customer client relation management or whatever. He's like, when you spell it out, it doesn't change the fact that I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan, we spend a lot of time with gentlemen just explaining what a URL is and what your hosting is, and then what your website design company or platform is, and how those three work together and how they're different. And we break it all the way down for our people. There's a large percentage of clients that we talk to and that are our clients that just completely have no idea. You know what I'm saying? And so they're trusting us multiple reasons that, hey, we know that you can build a website, do what you think would be best, how you've seen it work the best, and we trust you and don't get over on us. You know what I mean? Like your values line up to ours, just take care of us, right? And there's a lot of trust in this, man. And I think a lot of loyalty comes with that. So you can't misuse it or abuse it in any way. And I don't know, man. So it makes you just want to work harder for our clients. And man, I would say that in the shed industry, one of the things that I think is most common is just a lack of communication. So man, we talk to our people all the time, weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, probably at most. We probably reach out to them more than they do us, but we're like same day conflict resolved.
Yeah, that's a good approach. I appreciate you guys a lot doing that education component, because it is a challenge for us in that, I'm an engineer by background, so I talk all the software programming technical terms like the, Google tags and GTA 4 and all that, Shannon, but I'm actually not like a marketing person by background at all. And how I got into my current position, I moved from doing engineering and building the software into doing sales. And that's where I really learned deeply, the only thing that matters to your customer is what they're looking to achieve, what the outcome is that they need, what is important to them in their life. And if you can't understand that and speak it in their language, you're not going to have any impact. But with our software, there's a good number of things that are like the most powerful thing you can do with it requires some technical expertise to integrate it into your marketing, whether it's posting those links to Facebook, setting up the Facebook pixel, doing the Google Analytics tracking, even just, the normal website development, setting up those landing pages well and putting in good contextual links to building designs. Our customers see the biggest impact when that's all set up. And so you guys do that good work of educating people and also getting them to trust you, to let you do what you know is going to be super effective. And that's great. It's gratifying for me because, again, when I see people use it well, they their eyes light up when they start to see those results.
Yeah, get this, Dan, man. We're probably, Shed Geek Marketing's been, how long are we in, technically speaking? We've done stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, like since we launched, we're probably 8 months in, I'm going to say.
10 months, maybe.
Yeah.
10 months. I don't know. Out of all of our clients, and we've worked with upwards of 40 clients at this point, and we have a lot that are recurring clients. They've monthly campaigns and stuff. We've only lost one client. And the difference between that one client and all the others are they do not have a 3D builder, and we recommended it the whole time.
That's powerful. That statement right there is the best soundbite you could want for either of our companies.
We'll do all their graphics. We still do brochures. We do all that stuff, but we do their website. We host it. but like, they weren't getting quality leads. They felt like they were spending too much time on just subpar leads, and it was eating up their time and different things. And so, yeah, man, I mean, we use it as a major tool, and it's used out of every 4 campaigns, 2 of them, let me think, at least 2 of them are 3D builder focused.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. And yeah, that's powerful to hear. Yeah, I mean, in our case, it's kind of similar. Going back to the beginning of this conversation, like those customers that just put one little link or one button on the page, and then like magic's going to happen. And I mean, honestly, we have had some customers that's all they do, and they still get, a good amount of impact, but you just know they're leaving so much on the table. And yeah, just using it in those marketing campaigns is just very, very powerful.
And I know that I gotta go look at a house soon, but I got one other question, Shane. I know you probably got stuff as well, but the showing the price as a shed is being configured. Like right now, I'm on one of our clients' idea rooms, and they have about, I don't know, 10, 12, no, they got a lot more than that. How many is that? They got about 18 different options, okay? And so, they've tried it every way where, you put transom windows on it, price goes up, and it's right there in the middle at the top. And we've configured our buttons, what the buttons should say. What do you feel like is the most commonly used method? And then I'll tell you what I think works best as well.
Talking about pricing visibility?
Yeah, or if it should or shouldn't be, or what your quote button should say. I mean, what's the most used? Is it how it comes standard, like whenever they first onboard, or what's your thoughts on it?
Well, that's another area in which we're very flexible on the language, which we did purposefully. It would be amazing to do kind of an analytics comparison on the actual language on the button, which we probably could do. I mean, so on pricing visibility, the vast majority of customers just make it visible, but we do have some that, put it behind the email or a salesperson. It's not that common anymore just because that was common earlier on, but now just like transparency and openness. In terms of the call to action, this isn't based on authoritative data, but I think those calls to action on pages with multiple buildings designs where it's like design this building. So you're seeing the building and you're like, yeah, that's what I want to get. Seems like a pretty effective way to do it in terms of getting people to go into Idea Room.
Yeah.
Are you also thinking about like just the button where it's submit?
Yeah, I mean, like the button, what it should say, and then the pricing. Like, I think we found a really good one. I like it. So in this option, we do not have the price showcase. On the website, we have starting prices. We have our options list with prices and stuff. But on here, you get on here. Now, on this particular client, there is no upfront lead form, right? So they go straight in here, put in their zip code. They're building the shed. But they build it, and then the little red button at the top says "Get an instant quote," and then ultimately they know, okay, boom, we're gonna fill this out, and then I'm gonna have a quote emailed to me immediately. There's no wait time, right? That is really good for generating really good leads.
Yeah, I like that. That's very action oriented. Get an instant quote. Yeah, they know it's quote. Especially if the price isn't there. That's like, okay, get the price instantly. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I like that.
I like it.
Good stuff. I'm thinking about what you said earlier, and we'll wrap up here, Dan. But I didn't fall into this either, man. Like is it in Proverbs that says your gift will make room for you? And that seems to show up over and over and over in my life where, man, I think if you just put a focus on customer service and helping people, the details of the things come together. They don't always come together as quick or as the way you want them. Things don't always happen in your timing. But, man, I think it's awesome where you guys have landed in the shed industry. I'm curious about one thing and one thing only, and then I'm going to let you do questions, and then we'll get out of here. But I'm curious, do you ever see Idea Room venturing into the back end service, the admin panel, like the whole like outside of 3D configuration, or do you see an open source that it's going to allow in the industry for multiple vendors to be able to do that? And is that something you guys would support?
Are we talking like back end operations, manufacturing, that kind of stuff?
ERP, the whole thing, like, driving schedule, like, like just a one-stop resource, where you could still maintain your clientele, but have access to the back end. And then would you support that with other vendors on that? Is it a reality? Could it happen?
So I can tell you where we're at philosophically right now. I can always change in the future, I suppose. But because we're focused on customer experience, like simple, easy for the end consumer to buy a building. And then for the company, we're focused on those marketing and selling outcomes, increasing average sales price, driving higher quality leads, those kind of things. We stay laser focused on that. We're really careful about branching out from that because we want to be the best. And then it's kind of why we've built a pretty open platform. And I think we integrate with the most people in terms of like shed industry specific software. And then, like HubSpot and other kind of just vertical SaaS software. So we kind of go the best in class approach, stay more tightly focused, and then integrate and have multiple partners. And that's a pretty intentional approach. Now, ERP is an important question. It's a pretty hot topic in the industry now, and trying to get towards bill of materials and parts inventory. I definitely want Idearoom to be in a position where it's like we have multiple recipes we can recommend based on your size, and we have integrated and know the formula. Those are pretty significant projects, no matter how you approach it, whether you're buying something really big like a NetSuite or there's some shed industry specific software that's going after it. I definitely want to have a great recipe with good partners that we integrate with and we can help our customers be successful. I don't think we're going to do all of that. On the back end, I think where we're going to get more and more capability is on closing the order and the complete checkout and purchase. And we have a lot of that now, but, we intend to build out more of that. Anyway, does that provide some?
Yeah. It's just, I'm curious. Yeah. I'm curious. Phil, you said philosophical, and I think it's a good way to put it. It's like just kind of where you're at, where does your philosophy land, and where are you at in the moment? Cause I don't know, like everybody is going for that same client. And it's like, how can you come together and maintain some autonomy while also collaborating for the success of the customer ultimately? But I just don't know what it looks like, because it seems like such a big project, doesn't it? Because like you got to get a lot of things to work together. I mean, not just the softwares and the API and all that stuff, but you got to get the heart. And the heart is way harder than the technical part for me, because everyone has their own business philosophy and they have their own like road that they're traveling, that they're wanting to accomplish. And it's kind of hard to disrupt anybody's like system and be like, hey, what if this would help the customer more? But like, what does it even look like? Because you got to have a lot of minds in one room having that conversation. And I just don't know what it looks like. So I figured, why not open that can today?
Well, and it really does depend on the company, where they're at in their growth. I mean, an all-in-one solution is enticing for some folks. And again, based on what they focus on, like if it's a very manufacturing-oriented company and they leave all of the marketing and selling to dealers, they're going to think a lot more about operations and efficiency and manufacturing. So I think that's one legitimate area where there are multiple choices. And yeah, you want to find, the software and the companies that kind of align best with you, that fit really well with, taking you into the future where you want to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's room for multiple recipes. This is what we've chosen, stay really kind of focused on a particular outcome. And for us, even like when you design software, it's very different design, like for the consumer, the public visitor doing something like e-commerce,
right?
Versus say,
yeah, you're very two-sided. I mean, you have a two-sided marketplace, and I know it's easier to sell to the public than it is to sell to the shed industry. Trust me, I have to do it daily. Dylan's got to go. I've got some things I've got to wrap up. I normally reserve this time for you to ask questions to us, any questions you want, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to pause that opportunity today That way we have a chance to bring you back on in the future so we can go through those conversations again, because I think this makes good content, and good content makes for listeners wanting to tune in. So let's just keep engaging through enthralling conversation.
I love it.
Fantastic. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
See
thanks
ya.
so much.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.